Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 37, day number 37. Here's the problem on the blackboard already. We are learning how to add and subtract like terms. We've been adding expressions. Today we're going to learn how to subtract expressions. Question is, subtract this expression right here that you see. Subtract this expression 4a minus 2b minus c from this expression right here, 5a plus 3b plus 2c. So let's get going. So for example, if someone tells us subtract 7 from 10, well, we know what to do. Subtract 7 from 10, we take 10 and we subtract 7. Exact same idea is going on, but notice what happened here. I said you take 10 and you subtract 7 from it. Notice what happened. There's a negative sign here, even though this 7 has a positive sign. So what's going on here, we're learning how to do the algebraic language here. So this is plus, this 10 has a plus sign, this 7 has a plus sign, and this sign needs to be changed to a negative sign because we're subtracting. So you take the original number, whatever it is, with their sign, and then you need to change the sign if you're subtracting. And when you subtract positive 10 and this positive 7 becomes negative 7, positive 7 and a negative 7, positive 10 and a negative 7, it's going to give us positive 3. And that's how we would have to write in the algebraic language. In mathematical, in the simple arithmetic terms, if someone says subtract 7 from 10, you simply take your 10 and you subtract 7 and that's it, you end up with 3. We don't worry about the sign. We're not as formal in arithmetic. But algebra is very picky. It's very formal. So this positive sign has to be put in front of it. The positive sign in front of the 7 has to be put in it. And since we're subtracting, this turns into a negative sign. And finally we have to indicate with a sign at the bottom also. It's very formal. It's very methodical. It's very picky. So that's what's going on here. So here we take our 5a and we subtract from 5a. It says subtract 4a from 5a. So we take subtract 4a from 5a. So we take our 4a and we end up with a. We're subtracting it. So here this one has a positive sign, this one has a positive sign, but because we're subtracting, it changes the sign and we end up with an a. Similarly, we take our 3b. Watch what happens here. Here 3b has a positive sign. This has a negative sign, negative 2b. So what happens when you have a positive 3? We have a positive 3 here and we are asked to subtract negative 2. Okay, positive 3 and subtract from it a negative 2. You see? So when you subtract a negative number, a negative and a negative becomes positive and you end up with a positive 5. Like here, watch here. So we have a positive 3 here, the coefficient, and we have a negative 2 coefficient here, right here. That negative is going to turn into positive. This is how we show it. Whatever the sign is before, we do not change the sign. Don't change that sign. Leave the negative there and underneath it show the new sign, positive. Most people have out of laziness they take that positive negative and they just put it like this and they think it's okay. No, don't get in the bad habit. We need to see what was the original sign, and because of the fact that we're subtracting, that sign is going to change to positive. Just like here, the original sign was negative, but because we're subtracting, negative and negative becomes positive and we end up with positive 5. So here we have positive 3b, positive 2b, giving us a positive 5b. Let's do the last one. We have 2c, positive 2c, and a negative c. So again, we have a negative c, and we are subtracting it, so it becomes positive, and we end up with a positive 3c. Let's do it here. Positive 2 minus a negative 1. This is a negative 1. Minus a negative 1, and a negative and negative is going to become positive, and we'll end up with positive 2 and a positive 1, giving us a positive 3. Now we're going to show the whole process. But without showing all the baby steps in it. We're just going to do it together in a grown-up method instead of doing it in a childish way like we did here. So what we do is, whatever expression that we're subtracting from whatever it is, we write that expression first, obviously, that goes on the top. So we have our 5a plus 3b plus 2c, and then underneath we write this expression, 4a minus 2b minus c. And since we're subtracting it, this is how we write it. Since we're subtracting it, the bottom expression, all the signs in the bottom expressions, this one has a positive sign in front of it. Before we do anything at all of these signs have to be changed. This positive becomes negative, this negative becomes positive, this negative becomes positive. And at that point, all we have to do is simply add them up, that's it. This shows that we're subtracting it. Changing the sign announces to the world that you're subtracting this expression from that expression. Because if you were just adding, it simply would have been 5a plus 4a would have been 9a. Since we're subtracting this 5a minus 4a, which gives us a, 3a, positive 3a and a positive 2b gives us 5b, and then 2c plus a c is going to give us 3c, which you can see is the same answer. Here's your a, here's your 5b, and here's your 3c right there. So that's our final answer. I'm not going to obviously explain in this much detail in every single problem that we do, but I'm going to do it in the first few until you get a hang of it. Let's do one more problem, shall we? Let's do one more. Subtract 2x plus 3y minus 5z from 9x plus 4y plus 6z. Now this is where things can get confusing. Because here, what I'm writing here is this. What we're writing here is this. We are saying that subtract 3 from 7. But you have to understand that because we are subtracting 3 from 7, even though 7 appears at the bottom, it should be done like this. Subtract 3 from 7, so 7 has to go on the top. This expression has to go on the top because this top expression is being subtracted from the bottom expression. This 3 is being subtracted from 7, so it's 7 minus 3. This has to go on the top. Same thing is going to happen here. So we write 9x plus 4y, so we have to rewrite it obviously, 6z. And then we have 2x plus 3y minus 5z. Now, again, here we have 9x minus, this is a positive 9x, minus a positive 2. A positive 2x. See this positive 2 here, this one has a positive sign, this one has a positive sign. This positive 2 is going to become a negative because negative times positive is negative. So we have to change it underneath here. And this gives us positive 9x and a positive negative 2x is going to give us 7x. Which we can see here, 9x minus 2x is going to give us 7x. Let's do it in a different color, the next one. 4y, positive 4y and a positive 3y. Oh, I almost made that mistake, didn't I? And since we're subtracting, minus a positive 3y, negative and a positive is going to become negative, so this positive becomes negative. This positive became negative. So 4y plus minus a 3y is going to give us y. As you can see, 4y minus 3y gives us y. Same thing is going to happen here. This negative is going to become positive because we're subtracting. I'm going to show it here. 6z plus minus negative 5z. 6z minus a negative 5z becomes positive because negative and negative is positive. So it becomes 11z. That's all it is. You just have to change the sign. You take the top expression, you take your, put down your expression that you're subtracting from, then you write down the expression that you're subtracting, and then you change the sign, all the terms, all the signs have to be changed. And this is our final answer. So here we have 11z. And that's our final answer. That's it. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow on day number 38, and we're just going to keep on checking along. And soon we'll be done with this subject, this topic, adding and subtracting expressions, and then we'll move on to learning how to multiply and divide algebraic expressions. And once you've learned that, then we can go on and jump into the real algebra, which is solving equations. We're going to start out obviously first with the simple linear equations. And when the time comes, we'll talk about what that means, simple linear equations. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 38. Alright? Bye bye.